So my question is this. When we try to, because, okay, we have different aspects to wealth. Health, for you that have health, you have knowledge, and money is missing. Can we have a basis of percentage to say this is what money really carries? Because I drive around, I go to Lagos, in Ibadan. There was this day I was passing around Jericho. There's one school, and I saw the numbers of cars, types of cars going into that estate. And I saw that it was just one crèche, and they had IELT. And I'm like, I had to go and research. How much are they paying? It was close to 2 million naira. And I asked myself, am I really up for this? And you want to give the best to your children. And people say money is not everything. And we cannot agree that one thing, if a large percentage of us, myself, and my friends, I know that if we have money, 95% of our problem are solved. But most times we try to relegate and say, okay, wealth is this, wealth is that, wealth is this. But the truth is, all these things does not make sense if money is not involved. Now, that is one part to it. The second part to it is what you talked about. And my friend will say something that you have to be selfish enough. You have to be selfless enough to know that you need to be selfish. And it comes back to a place where he says the difference between the seed and bread. There was one time, I think when we were using the girl, she said something, and I cannot forget that day. She said, God gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater. And it stuck with me. Because I asked myself, at what point do you know that you have bread? At what point do you know that you have seed? Because when you hit your seed, there's no harvest for you. Now, as young guys that are growing up, that is what I want to tie to what he said. As young guys that are growing up, when you start making money, the first thing you want to do is start gesting some responsibility. And at that point, you're supposed to reinvest that money. Then you come out as being selfish. And you cannot impact life. And it comes back to those people that tried it. At the end of the day, it seems as though they were wise, but they were the foolish versions. Because I feel like wisdom has to do with wisdom subjected to time. At times can come out as being foolish. So when you say, okay, you are doing this based on you have this little capacity, and you're supposed to be actually be investing in yourself, which at that point you might come out as being selfish. So how do we balance it? How do we know, when do we have that discernment that seed is not bread and bread is not seed? Then how do we manage wealth from a perspective that, okay, I have peace of mind, I have good health. So how do I don't want us to just talk and we try to just push money down, and the next person you want to do something is bringing his family problems to you. You want to do this person is overcharging you, and you're like, okay, what is really happening? And you're like, that's how the country is.
Okay,
do you understand where I'm coming from?
Thank you very much. Put hands together for him, please. That's the last question, because we need to round up. These questions are very deep, and it takes the kind of pastor's depth. You know what I'm saying now? It takes that kind of pastor's depth to answer them, because it requires some level of balancing. Are you getting what I'm saying now? To somebody who is drowning, at that time, wealth is what? What is money? If you are drowning, wealth is what? When somebody is on the sick bed, and doctor said, we give you, yes, 3 months. What is wealth? So, how do we know precisely how to define it? So that whether now or in the future, no matter your circumstance, you can have a balanced perspective. Are you getting what I'm saying now? Of what wealth is. It's like a lion. Was it a lion or an elephant? That you are holding the tail. Somebody is holding the trunk, and somebody is standing with the leg. If you ask them what they are holding, they will tell you different things. Why? Because their experiences at that time are different. So, pastor will help us create that balance. And then also, as an upcoming, because even as upcoming self, everybody is upcoming. What do I mean? When you say seed is in level. Hello? Seed can be 100 million. I think Pastor Adeboye was when I was calling that he needed 10 people to give him how much? 1 billion. So to somebody, a billion is a seed. Whereas to another person, 100 naira is widow's mite. Hello? I get what I'm saying now. So everybody is always coming up at the same level. So, Pastor, how do we balance seed and bread? Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for
Let's
Pastor.
appreciate everybody. Let's appreciate the anniversary committee, Mr. Tony and her team. I haven't seen them since we started. Let's of course appreciate Kunle for making this quite interesting. The problem really about life is trying to squeeze everything into one Sunday service. And that's probably the biggest mistake we make as pastors. When we have a guest minister and he comes in and he lays hands on you and miracles happen, people say, oh my God, he's better than my pastor. Well, no, it's because you have faith for him at that moment. He performs a miracle that was specific at that particular time. But our job as a pastor is to grow you up. Our assignments are different. My job is to grow you up, not to give you a miracle when you come to church every Sunday. That's not my job. It's to keep you educated. And the more you grow, have you noticed that when a child is born, you don't go to the market to go and buy bones or hair or flesh? What do? You feed the child, you exercise the child, and he grows. And sometimes you don't notice until somebody else comes in and says, oh, that child is big. All of a sudden you say it's big. So our jobs are different. We've dealt with this topic of wealth before. The challenge is, what wealth are you talking about? There's financial wealth, right? There's relationship wealth. Am I making sense? There's health, wealth. People who are healthy feel wealthy. Because people who are sick have to spend their wealth getting their health. There's a video I'm looking for. I can't find it right now, but it talks about in life you have three main things. And for you, if one is lower, you have to use the other two to get what you want. If you have problems with wealth, there are two other things you have in your life that will help you get wealth. If you have other problems in those other areas, you have to use your wealth and one of the other things to solve that third problem. Am I making sense? But that's how God has equipped all of us. And, having said all of that, we just wanted people to understand something in this anniversary, that what we need for the future is what we needed for the past and what we needed now. That's where we were going with all this. It's the fact that people think you need something special, when what you need is knowledge. Don't forget, the theme was tools for the future. And like he said, the question he asked is really genuine and so on and so forth. But I remember one thing about Michael Jackson. I used to tell people all the time, Michael Jackson wasn't the best singer in the world. He wasn't even the best dancer, because most of you who know, there were other dancers that taught him how to dance. He was a combination of many things. He could sing, he could dance, he could innovate, he could create. Am I making sense? He had the looks, he had everything, he had creativity. So people think success is made of one thing. And so they step out of life thinking, oh, I'm smart, I can do this. Or I want to do this thing for people. And you don't have the administrative skills to keep your business running. You're going to crash. The person who doesn't have talent will also crash. The person who doesn't know management will crash. I don't know if you get the point I'm making. The question is, that's why one of my favorite things in Scripture is, whatever is lacking in my faith, God, give it to me. Whatever is lacking. And sometimes that thing that is lacking doesn't necessarily have to come into your life. It can come into somebody's life that somebody God connects to you. In Nigeria, for instance, okay, let me ask you a question. Has any of you in this church in the last 20 years ever asked me how I survive? Okay, let me throw that. Do you think when the money comes at the end on Sunday, I take it and put it in my account? Does any of you think that way? How come I've been pastoring you for 20 years? Is it 20 years? 19 years? 20 years? Yes. How many of you have never asked me how I eat?